We have so much victim villain mentality going on in our society, so much confusion, so many ideals and constructs that we think we have to comply with, that are normal, that really aren't. They have nothing to do with who we are and everything to do perhaps with why we don't have what we'd like to have. Part of my expertise has been diving in and finding those constructs so that we can flip the narrative.
Welcome to Be Bold Branding, where we discuss the power of differentiating yourself through your own unique story and standout personal brand. How do you move from sensing that you're destined for something different to actually claiming your significance in the world? Today, we're diving into the profound journey of self-actualization with Karen Vizer. That's Dr. Karen Vizer, who leads the Significance Movement, an international initiative helping heart-centered women manifest their brilliance. With nearly 3 decades of coaching experience, Karen is empowering heart-centered women to manifest their brilliance, claim their significance, and design identities based on being rather than doing. And spoiler alert, Karen is also a BrandFace client, and we'll discuss her journey through the program as well.
Karen, welcome to Be Bold Branding.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Well, let's jump right into it. So here's what I'm interested in. You've been clairaudient since you were a child. You want to tell everybody what that means and when and how you discovered that?
That's a great question. I really didn't know what it was. I was gifted, and I've always heard things. We have different psychic, if you will, or intuitive capacities and abilities, and they range from knowing, from hearing, from feeling and sensing, to visual. Maybe somebody is clairvoyant, where they actually see things, even the auras of people. And those gifts are measured in their primaries. Some of us lead with clairaudience. We all have them. It's just whether or not we acknowledge them and use them and enable them. And so some of us are clairaudient, some of us are clairvoyant, some of us are clairsentient feeling, some of us just know things. And so there are a number of clairs, and we don't need to go into all of those, but my highest one is clairaudience, and that's where I would hear things. So for example, when I'm working with a client, I might hear something, and I can give you an example from one of my clients who is a woman who was quite traumatized during her childhood for a number of reasons. And we were working together one day, and she said something, and I heard damaged goods. And I said to her, "Why do you feel like you're damaged goods?" And she was like, "How do you know that I was thinking that?" And it just dropped in. And I think it's because I knew, because I'm present, I'm 100% present and 100% all about what's going on for the client. It's not about me, it's about them. Mm-hmm. And how can I serve them? So, and my goal is always to serve people powerfully. So as a kid, I heard things. I was guided intuitively through that. I also knew things. And when I was a very young child, my parents used me as a barometer of their buying decisions when they were making big purchases. If I didn't like the salesman, they didn't buy.
How about that? That's incredible. Well, I'm going to need you to speak for Michael Carr and Associates, anything real estate. So, I'm just kidding. That's really fascinating because it's, to me, like the most fascinating thing about that is actually you recognizing it and honing it in. Because like you said, everybody has these capabilities, but most of us are not put in a position where we could even recognize that, much less hone it and utilize it. Would you agree?
Yeah, we have so much victim villain mentality going on in our society, so much confusion, so many ideals and constructs that we think we have to comply with, that are normal, that really aren't. They have nothing to do with who we are, and everything to do perhaps with why we don't have what we'd like to have. And so part of my expertise has been diving in and finding those constructs, finding those stories, finding those ideals, so that we can flip the narrative, so that the person can stand in that. And all of these things come with a good measure of shame. We have a lot of shame, I think, in our lives that we carry, and that interferes with our capacity to recognize that we are significant, that we matter, that we are a fabric. We're a thread in the fabric of life, a cell in the body of God, however you'd like to describe that. We are part of something bigger. And so it's very important that we enable our expression to the fullest ability of who we are.
I couldn't agree more with that.
Well,
Yeah.
let's dig right into that, Karen, because you have developed something you call your visionary framework, and it's kind of at the heart of that significance movement that you're leading. Can you walk us through just a little peek behind that framework and how it differs from like traditional goal setting approaches and things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a complex one. So early on in my career, I was blessed to have someone, and I don't remember who recommended the book that Robert Fritz had written called The Path of Least Resistance. And in that book, he describes a distinction between doing and being, and the structural tension of intentions. And so, for example, if someone says they want to quit smoking, that's about doing. If they say they want to be healthy, that's about being. And so much of our programming and conditioning has us living in what I call do-do land. So there's something I need to do. There's something more I need to do there. And we're running on this hamster wheel of doing. And the real magic comes when we stop doing and we start recognizing, what am I doing that's effective? Because there's the Pareto principle that says 80% of the effect comes from 20% of the effort. So what am I doing that's effective? And what am I doing that I'm doing because I'm worried about what people will think of me, or I need to, or I get my value from doing, I get my identity from doing. So it's all wrapped up. I don't know if this is clear or not, but it's all wrapped up into the societal norms that we're programmed into as children through school, through religion, through parental influence, through marketing. It's everywhere. And these constructs that tell us who we have to be in the world are lies. And so my goal is let's get rid of, let's remove. And I was highly influenced by Timeless Leonard years ago, who started the coaching movement. What is it about you that's not you, that you've taken on, that you've believed you have to enable, that you have to operate with? What is it that we can let go of that has nothing to do with who you are? And so the idea is less is more. And he had developed a program called The Absence of You. And that just, for me, every cell of my body resonated with that idea that we've taken on and we've taken on and we've taken on. And really what we need to do is let go of so much of that, because it's not relevant, nor is it useful.
Like what you're hearing? Hit that subscribe button and learn how you can change how you're seen and charge what you're worth.
Yeah, nor is it useful. That's a great add-on too. This reminds me, so I'm a big fan of The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Oh,
and I had to read it about 8 to 10 times before I began to even understand at all what he was trying to show us. But I think it's along the lines of what you're saying. I think that's why I liked it so much. We pile on so many things that aren't relevant, and they're not us, and we're toting that around, and we can't become us. Am I getting that right? Am I scratching the surface?
Yeah, exactly. You can't be who you are if you're doing what you think you need to do.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, tell us, Karen, what who are the clients that you're best suited to serve?
That's a really great question. And I've been questioning that a lot now, because for many years it was women 40 plus that were hitting an edge and needed support in growing that. And what I've found over the last couple of years is I have a client range now, and I don't know if you know this, of 20 to 84. And I meet them where they are, and we do different things based on what they are, because all of my work with clients is intentional, and it's focused on the outcome that they want to create, as opposed to what they think they need to do. We strip that back. And I've actually recently had a couple of guys reach out. I actually have 2 male clients now, which is very different. They're different to work with, but fun and challenging as well. And so I would say that for most people, it's people that know they can be more, that they can become more, that they feel restricted, they feel stuck, they feel like they've tried everything, they've read all the books, and they've done all the seminars, and they've followed all the leaders, and they're still where they were. Mm-hmm. And when I work with clients, I always have a rule. It's not really a rule, but it's kind of a boundary in some ways, that I don't want to have the same conversation twice. Because if you're not growing and becoming who you really are and letting go of who you aren't, then I'm really not your person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that boundary. Yeah, I like that.
I do too.
Then you're set on a path towards some progression, which is great. And I'm also happy that you're considering opening it up to men too, because I assure you we need it just as much as anybody. Yeah. It's a human trait, right?
Yeah. I feel like men have been vilified, and with the last couple of men that I've been working with, the stories that they've taken on about who they have to be in the world to survive are just they're mind-boggling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think men are as confused as women these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. I would agree.
Well, that's a great segue, actually, because one of the things that branding does is help eliminate confusion, right? And right. So you've been through our BrandFace program, and we've been so honored to have you as a client, Karen. So I want to start with why you came into the program in the first place.
I was tired of being the best kept secret. And I did not feel like I had clarity to articulate the value and the benefit that my clients receive from working with me. And as funny as that seems, I have clients that have been with me for over 10 years. And when they hit an edge, they come back and they pop in for a few sessions or a package or a course, and then they pop back out. And then I have some that have been consistently with me for years. And many of my clients were coming to me by referral. And I felt like I wanted to reach more people. I know that the value, I had a mentor about 3 years ago say to me, "You're $1 million decision and nobody knows about you." Mm-hmm. And he shocked me with that. And he gave me an assignment to go to 5 of my clients and ask them what the value of the coaching had been. And that shocked me as well. The 84-year-old told me it was probably about $200,000, and she'd value it at much more had she started with me sooner. Mm. And so I felt like, okay, I'm tired of being a well-kept secret. I don't know how I met you, Tanya, but there was just something that I resonated with who you were, with your authenticity. There was no fluff. It wasn't like, there's just a difference. Some people that offer branding have a little more fluff or a lot more fluff. And I just felt like it was real. So I'm very grateful.
Good,
Thank
kind
you,
words, Karen, and true words. Thank you, sir. And we also, speaking for Tanya in BrandFace, we live by the same rule you do, a boundary, if you will, right? We like to see forward movement. And so it's very important that our clients are moving in the direction that brand can take them. So let me ask you this. What was the most eye-opening of your journey with Tanya?
Oh, that's a hard question. It's not really validation. It was the acknowledgement that Tanya was able to give to me of being seen as the visionary leader that I am, being seen as someone who could impact way more people than I had been impacting. And so I think Tanya holding the space for that vision and acknowledging me was very potent.
Oh, that makes
That's
me happy to
good
hear
to know.
that. Yeah. How has the brand already helped you?
I think it's helped me in a number of ways. I don't stumble when people ask me what I do. I no longer stumble. I'm able to meet them where they are, speak to, and identify very quickly if they're a fit for the type of work that I do. Not everyone is. It's not for the faint of heart. Because we go deep, we go fast, and we make changes, and that requires a shift in identity. It requires 100% responsibility. It requires telling yourself the truth, and not everybody's up for that.
So true. And we feel that too, with BrandFace. It's not for the faint of heart, right? It's for people who are willing to come in and look authentically at themselves and do the work. And because the whole point is to take what's inside and put it out there for the world to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's been so joyful in working with you, Dr. Vizer, because what's inside is truly beautiful. And I felt like you did underestimate yourself at times, right?
Yeah. And I think that happened partway through our journey when I had a little bit of a pivot, and I was so grateful that you were there to be able to hold that with me and that bigger vision.
Yeah, it is such a journey that sometimes that pivot does come in the middle of that process, right? And it is important to acknowledge it and face it and figure out, is this pivot the right way? And it was for you, definitely was for you. And I'm so grateful for that. Was there anything you were particularly concerned about coming into the process?
I trust myself, and I had a very strong intuitive knowing to come in. But I also had some previous experiences with fluff. So I was pretty sure fluff wasn't happening here. But you don't really know that until you're able to embody the experience and walk the path.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to others who are considering becoming a BrandFace client?
I would say do it. If you have on your heart that you can reach more people, that you can serve more people, we live on a planet where there is a lot of chaos and there's a lot of turmoil, especially now. And I think that BrandFace is a place that will hold you to your highest vision of yourself and allow you to express yourself perhaps more broadly, more deeply, more authentically. I don't know if this is making sense, but I would say if you're someone who has felt limited, felt frustrated, felt like you're not getting your word out there, or you're not reaching as many people as you'd like to reach, or you're not fully in your lane, whatever that is, that BrandFace would be an amazing, amazing experience for you.
You articulated that beautifully, actually.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been to work with you and to really grow with you during this time, Dr. Vizer. It's been so wonderful. So thank you for trusting in us, and we truly appreciate that. And as we exit today, tell the audience how they can learn more if they want to work with you.
Well, I have a Linktree site. I do not have a website. I'm a person who does things a little differently than the norm. And so I do have a Linktree site. There are some wonderful free tools on that site, as well as ways to contact me. You can also reach me through social media profiles like my Facebook profile. I have a lot of people that come to me via Facebook or by referrals.
I love it. We'll make sure that is in the show notes.
Great. Thank you.
And thank you, Dr. Vizer. What a pleasure. We really appreciate and I'm honored to have worked with you.
Thank you. I am honored to have worked with you. I think it was an amazing experience, and I hope the people that see this podcast will reach out to you and benefit as much as I have from your work, from your gifts.
Ready to change how you're seen and charge what you're worth? If you're not getting enough opportunities to meet with ideal customers, or the prospects you're meeting with just aren't ideal, it's most likely your brand that's holding you back. So if you're a coach, consultant, or expert who is on the rise, you need our ultimate guide to a freedom-based brand. Download it free now at brandfaceguide.com.